Don, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
So I understand from John that you're a first-time ranch owner, and the excitement of getting your own ranch, for you and your family to enjoy. But explain what that process is like, and then having, Tejas as a resource to guide you through some of those big purchases and improvements that you're making on your property.
Certainly. This is my first rodeo. And I have no experience growing up in the country, experiencing the wildlife. Honestly, I've only been hunting a couple of times. And so my level of knowledge coming into this of what I could do with a ranch and the enjoyment that my family, and our guests could have is very limited. My wife came across the property and it was the right time. We'd had a business success, and so we bought a property. And that was the starting point. I came across Tejas through some references. I know a lot of people that have ranches in the area, and so I asked around. The initial purpose was for security, really, for privacy and security of the ranch. And so I came to John with that. It was mostly about, hey, I've got a county road here. Some of my neighbors are great. I have some concerns here and there. What can we do from a security standpoint? And he dialed me back and he said, okay, let's understand everything you're trying to do with your property. What is your family like? He got to know, my kids, what ages they were, what activities we might enjoy. And he actually has a list of, for his own ranch, I think, of all of the kind of recreation opportunities that one could develop on their ranch. And so we started talking, and he really helped me see all the potential of the land I had beyond just putting up a fence for security, but what does it mean in terms of wildlife management and the wildlife activities that we could have, the water that we have, developing the property. He helped me see these things, and one of the best things we did was we took almost a whole day and drove around other clients' ranches. I know you interviewed John earlier.
Sure, yeah.
He took me to these other ranches to show the fencing, but also to show what the development of the property had become. So John has a beautiful park-like environment and had this front fence concept that John had come up with, where you have the perimeter fence and then you have a different fence on the interior to keep different wildlife in a park-like setting where you can see them. And so he said, your property could work really well given what you're talking about, Don, and what you're interested in with your kids and seeing the wildlife and whatnot. So spending that day, we probably went to 4 or 5 different properties, and that really was super helpful in...
Gave you a vision.
Gave me a vision,
of what he was talking about.
And it became this, actually. John made this, and this has been updated over and over again.
Yeah.
Originally, I had this property right here. And really, based on all the excitement I had in talking to John about what I could do with this, I found that this was available and asked we haven't actually put a post in yet. We haven't built any fence yet.
Oh, so you got a lot in front of you here.
We're at the very beginning, but I've had, John has done so much for me in terms of developing my facility. I looked at this piece of land, and when I looked at it on the online listing and from an aerial view, I said, it's contiguous, but it doesn't look that great. Looking from the top, it's there's scattered trees here and there, and this doesn't look that excellent. And John said, well, in his own soft way, he said, let me show you a few things. So he sent me a topographical map, and he started showing me what the topography would allow. He said, look, this is actually very good. You've got 80 feet of elevation change over the course of this. These meadows are perfect for deer and wildlife. They'll be really enjoyable. It currently has a 2-acre lake. If you did this and this, you could have a 17-acre lake, from what we're seeing. And then we went through the so I actually became excited about the property, went out with a real estate agent and struck a deal in a week and bought the property.
Wow.
Yeah, and now we're in the process of, John sent out his guy to excavate, to do drill core samples of the lake, and we discovered that I've got great clay under there, a few feet under the topsoil. So I have everything I need to expand that 17-acre lake and really improve the value of the property, although I hope that it stays in my family forever.
Yeah.
But I don't want to invest money in a way that I don't think I've retained money there. So he's given me a really good sense of like what is a lake like this worth on an acre basis, and the cost of developing it versus the value on the market of it. But then much greater than that is, if we have a 17-acre lake, there's a lot of enjoyment opportunity there.
Yeah.
So
Private water.
Private water. So I mean, thus far we've gone over. Let's see, we've looked at the lakes and the water potential, the water sporting potential,
Sure.
the fishing of the property. We've looked at wildlife. I was out there yesterday with one of his vendors, or one of his resources that he recommended. We toured the property to look at what kind of exotics we could introduce and on these different parts of my property and what the costs were and all
Sure.
that. So this relationship has gone from me trying to keep people from stealing my stuff and protecting my family to I'm looking at wildlife development. I'm getting really excited about that. Expanding my lake. My property is 3 times what it was 2 months ago because of the acquisition that I did. And he also helped me with the valuation. I had an appraiser look at it as well, but John and the appraiser came up with kind of similar points on this new piece of property that helped me negotiate what I think was a great, a very good outcome.
You're fired up.
I am.
Awesome.
It's great. I can't wait for the fence to go up. So
I know. It'll be good.
But
well, thanks you again.
Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Alrighty.